¿Cómo que era? هذا picture. ما قطعها إنه الزيتون مش كل بغيش ويا وركي وركي سيم مسكرية هنو شولي هناي my introduction song. Hello, Doris. They were feeling muy sulle tedesche su che non so sicuro Hi everyone, I am Tara, aka Spirit Mother, and I would like to welcome you back to my channel on YouTube, Spirit to Spirit Teaches itself, on TikTok 1964 Soul, and I'm also live on my Facebook. If you're new to my channel, I always recommend, suggest, and really encourage you to read the description on my YouTube channel, Spirit to Spirit Teaches Going Within Self, so you can get a better understanding of what it is that I do bring forward on my channel. Like I said many times, I'll make you laugh, I'll make you cry, piss you off, you want to punch me upside my head, well, hey, keep spoken hands to yourself, and by all means, bring it energetically. There is a lot of cussing on here, and I work with spirit, You like me, hate me, love me, and love me, but I work with spirit, okay? And I use a lot in my everyday life, but I also come in and address certain things that I see taking place on social media, okay? And, it's been quite eventful because you're talking about racism and you're talking about discrimination, you're talking about dividing, and you're talking about this, you're talking about that, you're talking about the files, you're talking about cannibalism, you're talking about everything, okay? And today I'm addressing the blame game again, okay? Because everybody likes to usually blame somebody else for everything, so that they don't have to take accountability. Do you realize that that is narcissistic behavior and it's been passed down from your ancestors? Okay? Because a lot of you are going to take offense to this, and that's fine, okay? Because I see a lot of people, and what they're putting on here is it's like they're trying to cause people to go after white people because they're blaming white people for all the ills of the world. Okay? And my question is, when are you going to take accountability? Like you act like you're all holier than now. You act like your ancestors are all holier than now, which, hey, I did a bit of digging. Let's talk about cannibalism. Okay? You say about like this person, I'll play the video, okay? Because they refer to whites. Okay? I'm going to tell you this, okay? Because I see more Black people and more indigenous people racist against white people than I do white people against you. But somehow you blame us for everything in the world. You say, basically, the European settlers, you say they were like, you refer to them as being white man, right? But, hey, there were brown people, there were Black people, there were a bunch of different people coming. But you somehow you blame the indigenous community blames it on the white man taking over, the European settlers. White man come in and took over. Okay, let me enlighten you. Are you familiar with the Mohawk? Well, it was actually spelled Kewdechh, I believe, something like that. The Mi'kmaq, however you actually stole it from them. Take no offense to this comment, but look who's calling the kettle black. And it has nothing to do with color. But you will take it that way, won't you? Because I'm a white woman. On top of that, not just a white woman, but a white woman with blonde hair. Now, there's that part of it. Then I watched a video where a woman of color, an elder woman of color, was saying with regards to racism that the white community is the minority. So the white community is the minority. It means we're the less of all. And she was blaming that, it was white man because black men were going through the white people and having intercourse with them and producing brown babies. So it was the white man's fault for that. Oh, wait, no. It was the white lady's fault for that. The blame game. I'm talking about the blame game. You take no accountability for yourselves or your actions of your ancestors because you believe you are all holier than thou and all righteous, right? Let me enlighten you with cannibalism. Guys, here's the video. Let's turn it on. I'm gonna get my trusty little cord going. Well, that's weird. Somehow my blue cord disappeared. Maybe he got his nose in a joint and took my cord. Where'd that blue cord go that was in the back hallway? Well, I was actually using it, but it was yours. Was it mine or yours? Find the fucking chair. Holy crap. Like, this is ridiculous. When he, like, I have the cord down here. Like, oh, that was my cord. It's like, dude, you have 100 dozen of them up there. It's not like you're going to miss one. And it's only here. Like, shit. I've never, in all my life, had to deal with people like this. Okay. Now, let's go in here. Okay. And I'm going to bring it to this. It's like, oh, where's my cord? Shit, man. Shit, it's my time, man. You're taking up my time. And this is who, like, my ex-husband, and one's like him, and this is, well, it was mine, wasn't it? Yeah, well, it's my time, and you don't mind using up my time, do you? As long as it benefits you, huh? Okay. And now he was coming. I could feel it. Okay. I'm just gonna pause because I do like this. Oh, excuse me. I have the hiccups now. Okay. Let's go to this lady here. Okay. She's going to talk about cannibalism and how Idaho has made cannibalism, eating human flesh, illegal. Okay. And I'll even touch base on this stuff too. Okay.
Is not illegal in the United States with the exception of one state.
What? It's not
The
illegal.
only state in the United States where cannibalism is illegal is the state of Idaho.
Are you kidding me?
No.
I am not leaving my house today.
White people have always indulged in cannibalism. They ate their slaves and they ate black people that were free after the Emancipation Proclamation, after lynchings.
Cannibalism is
White
not
people has always eaten their slaves. Fuck people. Oh my jeez. Seriously. My question is, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck is your malfunction? Why do you have a hate on for white people? Okay, maybe white people should have hate on for you because you say about racism, but I see more people of color being racist towards white people and blaming white people for everything, considering, you know, that woman that said, that black woman that said that the white community is the minority. And then an indigenous woman, she came in and she said about the white Europeans, but she said that the white community, that the whites didn't come into existence until the 1600s. So, you know, you're blaming the white community for all the ills of the world. Wow. Okay. Considering the first ones to really have slaves was actually brown people, and they were called Egyptians, right? They weren't white people. They were brown people because I looked it up and I even brought it on here one day when I last talked about the blame game. Okay, because everything keeps coming back. Anything you see, you're blaming the white man. You don't. I'm going to say it. You do not see white people going and saying, "Oh, well, we want this history. We want that history. We want this done. We want this holiday. We want this. We want that." But you'll say, "Oh, well, you have your Christmas." Really? That's why people are saying that Jesus Christ was black. How's that work again? I'm still in my PJs and I don't give a shit in here. Seriously, people. Now, let's see what we have. What do we have here? Okay. Going through this, I'm sending it all, and then that way I can see what it is that I'm searching for. I'm not sure what that is, but like, talk about who considers themselves righteous. It's okay, I know. Oh, right here. Okay, well, like I said, we'd address. Shut up, you're pissing me off. The earliest, most defined evidence of human ancestor cannibalism is a 1.45 million year old Tibai skin bone found in Kenya, which shows 9 distinct tool inflicted cut marks consistent with butchery, okay, found in Kenya. Okay, let's go there. Let's go there because I'm the furthest thing from racism, but I'm getting really fucking angry. And I'm still not racist against colored people because I know you're not all the same. Kenya, Kenya was community of color, correct? But it was white men. White men always ate. White men always ate the people. But then, that indigenous woman, she said that, white man didn't come about until the 1600s. So, hey, but somehow we are responsible for all the ills in the world. How fucked up does that sound? Because if you think that, people of color didn't have slaves and weren't cannibals, holy shit, man. Oh, right, it's only the white Europeans. Fuck off with that shit. Other early examples include 100,000-year-old Neanderthal bones in France with cut marks for marrow extraction. Okay, so you'll say, well, that's European. But you won't see the part of the Kenya, right? You'll just see that it was France, a European culture. Well, do you know whether or not they were brown or white? $1.4 million years ago, a relative of Homo sapiens in Kenya shows cut marks indicating consumption of meat and marrow. 100,000 years ago, I read that part. $50,000 years ago, remains of an El Salvador, Spain, show that a group of 9 Neanderthals were likely butchered and consumed. 15,000 years ago, evidence from Borges Craig, England, suggests ritualistic cannibalism where human skulls were used as vessels. Doesn't say color, does it? So you're just assuming, right? Well, the term cannibal itself dates back to the 16th century encounter of Christopher Columbus. The architectural evidence shows the practice existed for millions of years among hominid species, meaning you were eating each other. Cannibalism didn't choose different colors. But hey, I've heard of the Chinese culture or the cultures in Asia where they said that white man always tasted better. So how about you sit with that? Stick it in your little fucking peace pipes. Or your vapes, whatever you're using today. Or whatever it is you're throwing up your nose. Or sticking your teeth. Or injecting your butts. So we'll go let's seriously go through that. So that woman that posted that about the whites were always eating us. Fucking grow up, seriously. Fucking grow up. You are what's wrong with the world. People like yourself, and I don't give a shit if you're black, white, orange, green, purple, or turquoise. You're what's wrong with the world. You take no accountability for your own answers. Anybody hear of Samuel Ball? You know the Ball plantation? They were black slave runners, right? Ellis Ball, I believe it was. Like, fuck. And you blame white man for everything. And it wasn't the European settlers who'll say Christopher Columbus. Well, Christopher Columbus, he just really founded the place. But it was the British who actually came over and started colonizing it. Because it was Edwin Cornwallis and his group of people that came over first and started slaughtering people. And he was British. Guess they took what it came with. And just so you know, you say about loyalists, it was black people that came over at the same time, but you'll still blame white man for everything, won't you? You know, a lot of people see myself, that's why I don't like me. Doesn't matter if you're white or brown or black or however people want to, people even say others are yellow and red. You say redskins, right? But people take offense to that. But it's okay for you to blame everything on the white man? And because your black husbands or brown husbands can't keep the fucking dicks in their pants, you blame the white woman? Yeah. No fucking wonder it seems like Trump got a grudge for immigrants. No offense, I don't take his side, but hey, just saying. Let's go. Is cannibalism illegal in the United States? She said it's not illegal to eat human flesh in Idaho. Oh, wow, okay. You think that law is like you're going to really stop that law from them eating flesh if they wanted to eat flesh? Like, how the fuck are you going to know? The only way is, this is it. This is what makes things a cannibalism illegal. Maybe people, instead of going and focusing and listening to one fucking person on here, because they say something which is, a lot of gaslighting, rage bait, because they get off on watching people fight with one another with regards to all this fucking bullshit that's happening. And I do say bullshit, whether it's your fucking history or not. White man's got a history too, but they're not allowed to say their white history because they're always the fucking said to be the enemy. And I'm not saying it because I have white skin. Because my 7th grade granddaddy, who European settler who came over here, he was fucking indigenous. So bite my fucking, hey, half-breed ass. This is the way. Well, there is no specific federal law in the United States that explicitly bans the act of cannibalism itself. It is effectively illegal due to laws governing murder, corpse desecration, and health violations. Idaho is an exception with a specific statute criminalizing the ingestion of human flesh except for survival. Key aspects of cannibalism laws in the U.S. No explicit federal law. There is no specific overarching law against eating human flesh. Criminal charges, actions associated with obtaining human meat, such as murder or desecration of a corpse, are illegal and prosecuted under the state law. And it's time to get in there and fucking start Pam Bondi. It's time to get in there and start fucking picking them off. Or were you one of them that indulged in eating human flesh? Just so you know, people, that when my body reacts like that, that's called truth to be told. Consent does not matter. Even if a person consents to being eaten, the person who consumes them can still be prosecuted for homicide or other related crimes. Idaho specific statute. Idaho has a direct law, section 18-5003, making it a crime to willfully ingest human flesh or blood, punishable by up to 14 years in prison. The only exception in Idaho is for survival in extreme life-threatening conditions. Desecration of a corpse. Almost all states have laws prohibiting the abuse and mishandling of human remains. Now let's go to next. The U.S. Criminal Code regarding cannibalism. In the United States, there is no specific federal law that explicitly prohibits the act of cannibalism itself. However, the act is effectively criminalized in all 50 states through 18-5003, various other statutes, such as murder, manslaughter, or other abuse and desecration of the corpse. Idaho law on cannibalism. Idaho is the only state with a specific statute against cannibalism. Idaho Code 18-5003 defines cannibalism as ingesting ingesting flesh or blood of a human being. It's almost just as gross. With, you say you eat animals. Penalty. It is a felony punishable up to 14 years in prison state. Exception, it is alternative defense if the action is taken under extreme life-threatening conditions as the only apparent means of survival. Legal contents in other states. In the remaining 49 states, while there may not be a specific statute labeled cannibalism, the act is prosecuted under murder, homicide, if the victim has been killed to be eaten, desecration of a corpse, laws regarding the illegal handling, dismemberment, or abuse of a dead body, health codes, public health regulations regarding the handling of human tissue. Consent. Consent is generally not a defense. An individual cannot legally consent to being killed as the court do not recognize the waiver of a right to life. Survival necessities. While sometimes discussed in ethical debates, the 19th century doodling of Stevens' case, necessity is generally not a recognized defense to murder in the United States law. Proposed litigation in 2024 litigation, OK 5B502 was introduced in Oklahoma to create a specific standalone 14-year felony charge for killing. While acquiring human flesh is generally illegal due to laws protecting corpses, the act of ingesting it is not explicitly named in the statute of 49 states. Okay. Back to the part where she's saying about the slave, the white man eating their slaves. With all due respect, if white man is going to eat whatever color, they're going to eat their own. Because like I said, in here, when I was in the psychiatric unit, when I started going through my awakening, I have no shame in it. Because when I got out of there, they had me diagnosed as unexplained. So if you want to throw shit at me, you best know what you're talking about before you come. ¿Ya te atoré? Listo como cholato por esse caralho. See, I said before, I live in a house, just so happens that the man who owned the house before he passed, his name was John, and he was a Baptist, and he was a deacon at a church. Okay. But see, when I was in the psychiatric unit, there was a man in there. His name was John. And like he was, you could actually refer to him as being much like John you write about in the Bible. Because he started like in the Bible, and he started like he has things in here. Markings. Okay. And he has okay. The human race is self-destructive and disobedient to God. They should have been destroyed in 2000 BC. Don't know who created them. They were entertainers, and then Walt Disney, 29, very dedicated to God and Jesus. I can't speak for the millions, billions today. Most churches are empty. The reason is that those leaders can't reaffirm the belief in God and Jesus. Okay. This is the 10 commandments that he has. God for 10 commandments. But Moses turned it to the man's 10 commandments, right? Do not steal. Who's stealing? Your government and your churches, all the hypocrites. Do not kill. Who's killing? Your government and, the churches for sacrifice, but you'll blame it on the pagans and you'll say that, oh, it was them, like they're the ones of the witchcraft. With all due respect, you're the ones talking about fucking rituals where you're going to eat the flesh, you're going to eat the flesh of Christ and drink the blood of Christ, which is pretty cannibalistic if you ask me. Okay, you say of the lamb, and you say it was Jesus who was put on the cross. It wasn't Jesus at all. It was actually Mary Magdalene, and she was pregnant at the time. That's why they stabbed her here and said that it came out as water and blood, because it broke. They stabbed right through. The water shot. They stabbed her and they stabbed through the water shot. That was the blood. That was the blood in the water that was coming. But you didn't get that right because you're too fucking ignorant. That's drinking the blood of the Christ. Do not convert your neighbor's spouse. Convert. People take that as sleeping with, but to convert, it's when that, you're saying to convert religions, you're saying to convert certain belief systems. Do not use the Lord's name in vain, God or Jesus. But Jesus said, blasphemy the Father, be forgiven, blasphemy the Son, be forgiven, but blasphemy the Holy Spirit, do not, because the Holy Spirit is actually the mother. Do not be jealous or deceiving. Shit. We're all that to the point where, you'll blame the other people, you'll blame the other religion, you'll blame the other race because you say it's always somebody else's fault and you have no accountability. If you are condoning killing because of a belief system, you're part of the fucking. Okay? 10 Commandments. Love your brothers and sisters. Do not be jealous or use sloth or deception with brothers and sisters. Don't lie to or cheat your fellow sisters or brothers. I don't care. This is the part for the religious people, the ones who want to keep bringing Jesus into it when you're just going by manipulation. But you're so hell bent on it, you'd want to kill me right now for it. And if I'm being honest, even if Jesus Christ was sitting in front of you or standing in front of you, if you actually heard the truth that he was saying, you would want to kill him again. But like I said, it wasn't him you killed. It was Mary Magdalene, because it was the time where a man was a ruler, and this is what you're living with right now. That's why they say you are in Revelation. You are at the end of the Bible. Yes, I'm going. Always show honor and praise for our Lord, our grace, Goddess, our Lord Jesus Christ. So the mother or the son, mother or the child. Honor God's holy Sabbath and day of rest, Sunday. So honor God's holy Sabbath. God's holy Sabbath would, the way this is worded, would represent Saturday, and the day of rest would be Sunday. But hey, I'm not picking a religion or anything like that, because religion is really fucking causing a lot of pain and suffering in the world, and you say it's not. Look around you. But it's always the blame game. But for some reason, hey, you're always blaming white man for everything. When are you going to take accountability? That's what Christ was talking about with regards to hypocrites. You blame other people for the exact same thing that you and your people were doing and your ancestors. But you believe to be better than white men, right? But if a white man was, like I said, if a white man was to say, like, hey, we want a special thing. You're racist. Like, how dare you want that? You're the ones that put all of this stuff on us, which we weren't at all. So I'll say, how many people of color are pissed off at P. Diddy and his fucking crew? They were doing the exact same thing. Only you stopped going after his files, right? Of course. And then you have white man believing that they stole the land from the indigenous communities, which they actually did not steal the land. They were actually living happily until Edward Cornwallis, the British, decided that they wanted to cause havoc and put all the blame on the European settlers. It was my seventh great granddad who actually was the one that got all of the European settlers, all of the settlers, including blacks and indigenous, off of the godforsaken island called George's Island. But we're always to blame for everything. So you'll say, okay, you got black people that came from Europe, brown people that came from Europe, but you'll call them African Americans. Or you'll call them, like, because you'll say they were originally from Africa. Am I being ignorant or more ignorant than you? And I ain't even being ignorant, but you'll take it as being ignorant. It's like, shit. I'm so fucking tired of, like, people say, well, why do you watch it on there? Because I'm just seeing how far people are actually going to fucking go before you fucking wake up. I know people who will say, about the immigrants coming over, the Indians taking our jobs, they're doing this, they're doing that. If we were to go over to their country, you came from those countries, jackasses. Your ancestors came from those countries, but you want to continue to fight over it, right? So I could care less if I had really any friends, because you're not the type of people that I really want to be friends with if that's the way you look, if that's the way you think of things. If you want to continue to blame white man for everything and believe yourself to be holier than thou. White men are the murderers. White men are the slave runners. White men are the cannibals. Oh, right, because you say, well, hey, people say that Epstein didn't want black people on his island, so what was he doing? He was eating white people, right? But see, those are things that you don't clue into, right? And why not? Because if it has anything to do with your religion, if it has anything to do with your culture, if it has anything to do with your color, well, by fuck, you'll have nothing to do with it, right? You're just, white man, they stand out the most. They can't fucking blend in with society. Like I said, I don't care if you like me or not. Gay people, you have your holiday. That's where people get irritated. You have your gay pride. But if straight people wanted that, you'd be all fucking forlorn. You'd be up in the uproar, and it wouldn't matter if the person was black, white, green, purple, yellow, orange, red. You'd be up there. How dare you? Well, I'm going to be honest. It seems like, once again, straight people are the minority, like the white people are the minority, right? Do I have a right to talk about this? Yes, I do, because I'm a bisexual. The person come on here, they were saying about, in Leviticus, it was saying that, it's homosexuality is punishable. Penalty to be died. Penalty to die. But yet you people go by what Jesus says. Jesus didn't come into the Bible until the New Testament, and there's nothing in there for him that says about how homosexuality is punishable by death. Like, I'm not defending any certain individuals or group of people. But what I am defending is the part that you are supposed to be able to be who you are, not who somebody says you are or you have to be, because if you are something different, then you are the fucking problem. No. The ones who are different are not the fucking problem. The ones who perceive that everybody has to be a goddamn fucking cookie cutter are the problem. So don't you dare come to me with this fucking shit of truth and reconciliation and black people's month or what have you. If a white person said, "Oh, well, we want rations for all the shit that we've gone through, all the blaming that's been put on us when we've been innocent on things." We don't ask for that, do we? Because if we were to ask for that, well, oh my fuck, what an uproar you'd have. And I don't give a shit if you like me. Because obviously, if the way this is going on and this is the way you think, I don't want nothing to do with you. Because you are not the kind of person that I want to have anything to do with. Because you are the ones that believe yourself to be righteous when you've not made one fucking right choice in the whole goddamn fucking time that you've been bringing this bullshit forward. Do I agree with transgender going in and reading books and teaching, like doing drag shows and stuff to the children? No, I don't. But you want to hurt me for that, right? Do I agree that you should be separating everything? History is history, but there's lies in the history. And your own people were hurting you. Your own people were fucking eating you. Because, other people on here have said, white man didn't come into existence until the 1600s. So if white man didn't come into existence till the 1600s, then please tell me how exactly the ills of the world is the white man's fault. Oh, because you figure that everything's just happening now when it was happening long before? Oh, you're so opinionated. Am I? And you're so ignorant. Because this is not opinions. This is the stuff that you people have been bringing forward. And I'm just putting it in your face. Do you know the reason why your government keeps going along with the narrative of European settlers coming in and causing harm to the indigenous communities is because they're getting rain. You say white man's savage, and I'm going to say it. The indigenous were going on, and they were scalping each other's scalp and using it as trophies like holding it up like a fucking flag and making animal noise. It's like, I like the sound when you do it. It sounds, I'll say it sounds like hyenas. Am I making fun of you? No. Because that's part of my ancestry too. So if you're going to hold that against me, well, then I guess you're just fucking ignorant. And you think you own it. That's the thing. White man's afraid to stand up and say anything because, we get blamed for everything and you'll fucking attack, right? And you attack through propaganda, you attack through more perceived history. White man says anything, holy fuck, man, we're the problem, right? No, actually, we're not the problem. You're your own fucking problem. But you won't like me for it, and that's why, I know that people have seen my videos, seen my stuff, because people will give me dirty looks. And I can feel it, I can feel you, I can feel your internal thoughts, feelings, expressions. And then you'll say, I'm the one that thinks I'm better than everyone else. With all due respect, have a look at yourself. Have a look at the stuff that you post. Anything about the white man brings any of their history forward of what happened to them, that's a lie, right? You say that's a lie. We're the barbaric ones. Hey, weren't the fangirls actually drowned? They were killing each other. They were fucking caveman backs to each other, beating their own fucking wives with it. Hey. But, would you like me to supply the cross for you? I don't even have to carry it anywhere. It's already rooted in the ground. You want to set me on fire? Fuck, I got a big old fire pit out there. I'll even supply this. I'll even supply the coal for you if that's how you feel about people like myself. Oh wait, you already did that. King James, the witch trials. He wrote the book Demonology. I actually have 2 of those books coming, by the way. Those were your ancestors. So that tells me that you would burn your own ancestors because you would believe something else. With all due respect, you say about witchcraft, you go to church, you get baptized. That's a ritual. Did you ever read what they say? Of course. Because you're not making the oath to God, to Christ. You're making an oath to the church to follow the fucking church. And if you don't, they kick you out of the family. And you call yourselves people of God. The devil even does better than you. Tell me I'm talking secret. How about you go fuck off in the corner somewhere and keep whining about your life? Keep whining about what your supreme perceived history was. I'm not saying your history didn't happen, but you always want to blame it on somebody else and take no accountability for your own ancestors' fucking dirty deeds. And you're always accusing people because you say you're going by your history. Who wrote your fucking history? Let's see. Probably the cannibals in your own ancestry. The abusers, the rapists. But you will say white man's paying for everything. You fucking like you make me more ill than all the other shit that's put out there because you take me. You take no accountability and realize that you are just as much to blame as the people doing it because you've done nothing to fucking stop it except complain. When Christ said, "Oh, they know not what they do or say." Yeah, well, that excuse is long gone. Because you've been repeating it for too fucking long not to remember and know. You just keep telling yourself. Just so you can deny the truth. Oh, we went through We want truth. We want truth. No, you don't. You want to say you want truth. But you really don't want the truth, because if the truth came to light, well, then that means that you would have to face your own, right? See, the right people will actually get this and understand, and they'll realize, wait a minute. Because the only ones that want to keep it going are the ones that are fucking ignorant to their own truth, and they have to have somebody else to blame for it. That's called a victim narcissist, right? And then the ones that, keep it going, you then become not just a victim narcissist, but you become a full-blown narcissist of victims. Because narcissists never take accountability for their own shit, for their own history. Better run back to the church, doing a little confession thing. Forgive me, Lord, for I have sinned, and I'm just going to confess now, and I'm going to go back out, and I'm going to do the same thing over. I'll see you next week so I can confess again, so that, it just washes off me and puts it on someone else. But hey, my channel is out there, especially title groups with ready to face. And it's sure to heck out the face. But if you really want to help your children, then you will hear and understand what I'm saying. Because you are to blame for your children the way they are. But you'll blame it on the schools, you blame it on the government, you blame it on everybody else for taking accountability for your actions or lack thereof. And then hate people like myself who have, the courage to stand up and speak up about it without fear of being nailed to a cross or tied to a stake or hung from a tree or torn apart because you've got 4 horses pulling each one or chopping your head off. We were not the savages. You were just as much fucking savages as white man as black man. Like I said, the white man got the scalping from you. The scalps were the trophies. You were going to other communities, raping and beating their women and children, and hanging their husbands. Oh, wait, you were scalping your husbands, and then sticking on your poles. Just saying. Loyalists blaming the white man, the European settlers when there's actually not the European settlers who caused havoc. Because, obviously, you're blaming my ancestors on both sides. And just so you know, those ancestors were yours. But you're too fucking ignorant to acknowledge that, right? Because skin color is not the same. You want to say love and light? You don't fucking know what love and light is. Love is someone who is able to step up and speak truth, even if it leaves them alone with no one. Because I'm never alone. I'm happy sitting in spirit. So, with that being said, I'm sitting on this floor playing many places, most importantly, very good health. Be big, big, brave, listen for yourself. You're a healthy self. It's time to stand up. It's time to put your fucking differences aside and start blaming one group of people and start taking accountability for your own. It's enough to make a person barf. Because that's the sickest part of it all. So, with regards to your children, yes, as parents, you are to blame. With regards to your medical system and all the other stuff, yes, you are to blame. And once you realize that it's time to take accountability for that and fucking stand up and do something about it instead of sitting on your goddamn fucking ass, complaining and saying it's everybody else, fucking get off your ass and fucking stand up to the true sin. And while you're at it, don't forget to look in the mirror because you're part of it. And when I say about being part of it, you are part of the system. You can't blame the system because you're the one who votes in it. You're the one who fucking hires them. You're the one who goes running to them every time you go to sleep. You're the one who gets in charge because you're afraid, oh, well, if we don't send our children to school, who will come take our children? Well, with all due respect, you were the ones that just sat back and did nothing because, oh, it might happen. Well, it's happening. Not it might happen. It happened because you didn't bite it in the ass before it got bigger. Better go stand at the fucking polls again. Hey, people say about what is it, The Simpsons? What about the episode where Cartman and them say about when you're voting in a wiener, a dick, or a douchebag or dildo? They're stroking each other's egos. Fucking complaining about your neighbor and blaming everything on your neighbor. Do you get it yet? And you talk about sleepy Joe Biden and you talk about Donald Trump sitting there sleeping. Maybe he's just showing you your actions. Just saying.